All right, here we go. We're back for another episode of Talkin Dodgers.
Yes, we are. What's up, Robbie? What's up, Max?
What's going on, guys?
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, living the dream.
That's
Happy
it.
Friday.
All right, we're on a time crunch in this episode,
Little
so
bit.
we're going to just jump right in. Forget the pleasantries. Let's just get into it.
Let's get into it.
All right, so big news. Kershaw's at spring training. Shows up, has a little bit of an interview, talks about the tough decision he had to make. This is the first tough decision that he's had to make, I guess, in his life. As far as, I'm trying to remember what his exact quote was, but it was something on the lines of, the Dodgers drafted him, so he knew which team he was going to be on. He married his high school sweetheart, so all of his choices were pretty much already set for him. But deciding whether to re-sign and come back, that was a tough decision for him.
Yeah. He, and you know him, he's never really been one to pull punches. You can always tell what he's speaking is coming from the heart. And, we're all, well, Max, maybe not included, but me and you, Robbie, I know we're definitely excited here. And just to see him back and to see what kind of impression he's going to have on these younger guys, especially the younger pitchers coming up. I mean, got a future Hall of Famer right there, so these guys can kind of pull ideas from and pick and prod at his brain, and I'm sure he will be fully open to all of that. And let's go. Pitchers and catchers are there right now.
Yeah.
Including Shohei.
Yeah. Not a pitcher right now.
Not a pitcher right now.
Max, you're a New York guy. What's your take on this whole thing?
I mean, beyond the New York guy thing, I do appreciate, Kershaw. I mean, I appreciate any great pitcher.
It's greatness in general.
Like,
right?
I love when, great pitching performances. So I can't wait to see him again. I've never seen him live, so I would love to be able to do that, now that I'm out here. So
Sure.
that's my overall take. I mean, it's not like he's a guy people hate like Kurt Schilling or Randy Johnson. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think he's, people universally don't hate the guy.
Even Roger Clemens.
Roger Clemens, trust me,
As you would know, right?
See, that's funny. Like if you talk about hated pitchers, I wouldn't have picked those two. I'd have picked something like wait, you picked Kurt Schillings and Randy Johnson, right?
Yeah.
I'd have picked like Roger Clemens.
And Roger Clemens is a good one.
He
Yeah.
would be number one in my book.
Yeah,
That's why
I would
I
think
said
he'd be
that.
up there.
Yeah.
But for Kershaw,
I also hate
the
Pedro.
hate is more about his postseason stuff. But
Yeah. I hate Pedro too, so
Really?
Well,
I can't stand the guy.
I hate that the Dodgers traded him back in
Yeah.
90, whatever it
For
was.
who? Do you remember for who?
No.
Delino DeShields.
Oh,
Traded him to the
yeah.
Expos.
Nice.
We're
nice
probably
pull.
talking early to mid 90s right there.
I remember my dad telling me, and I don't know if it's true or not.
The Shields kidding me.
Tommy Lasorda said trade him because his hands weren't big enough.
What is he, a quarterback? He's
I
trying
don't
to
know.
be a
Well,
quarterback?
because he couldn't get the
Wow.
grip like his brother could.
Oh my goodness.
Ramon Martinez.
And Ramon was no slouch, but he wasn't Pedro. Let's face that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. Well-
Expos. Bring him back.
Expos Nationals, right?
So I did like one of his comments that he made, though. We're going back to Kershaw, by the way.
Let's do it.
Is that he didn't want to go out that way. So he was referring, obviously, to his last pitching performance in the playoffs last season, which we all thought that. We were all hoping that that was going to be a deciding factor for him to come back. Obviously, I'm sure he's probably also thinking like, hey, I'm only this far away for wins. I'm only this far away from strikeouts.
Sure.
Obviously, the Dodgers, and he does mention this, the Dodgers give him the best chance to win a World Series. But at the same time, we want that fire in him to basically go, no, I don't want my last performance at Dodger Stadium to be giving up like 6 earned runs in not even in a third of an inning.
He got one out. Yeah.
Should have been 2, but yeah, 1 out.
Should have been, because Outman should have had that ball, but shoulda, coulda, right? We're not on the field.
We're not on the field. It's not our jobs, unfortunately.
Well, yeah.
But I thought it's good. So Kershaw's there. He's sharing his wisdom. He's talking to the press. He seems like he's super excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean,
You want to talk about his contract? The rumors of what it actually looks like is kind of underwhelming for a guy like Kershaw.
Definitely not what was talked about, for sure.
Yeah,
it's
right?
not confirmed yet, though, right?
No. This is the rumors out of The Athletic.
Okay. What does it say?
They're saying it's pretty much a 2-year deal. $10 million. If he picks up his player options for 2025, he has a chance to make up to around $12 million this year based on how many starts he makes.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
a weird kind of thing.
So it's
like-
incentive based.
yeah, like if you're healthy, we'll give you a little bit more,
Performance-based.
and you have to pick up the option to trigger that extra money.
For this year, though. But it
For
doesn't.
next year, he has to pick up that option.
2025.
Right,
Okay.
know?
right. But it doesn't talk about how much money he's going to make next year.
No.
So it just talks
So
about
probably
he,
an
the mo-
average of that.
So he can make
probably.
at least $12 million this year.
Yes.
I feel like that's. I mean, look, you're not going to get a Kershaw that's even going to pitch. He's not going to pitch the whole season. He might only pitch like what, a third of the season.
And I'm sure that was part of their deciding factor in
Yeah.
making that contract.
Yeah.
I
Why
mean-
pay him $20 million if he's only going to pitch 60 innings or something like that?
Right.
You know,
And there's probably maybe some hometown discount in there as well, but
sure.
I feel like that's appropriate. To be honest with you, for
I'm
his
fine
age,
with it. Yeah.
for obviously injury prone, for him basically he's going to be rehabbing, during the season. I think that's
He is.
that's appropriate. You don't think that's appropriate, Max?
Yeah. No, I think it's spot on because I mean we keep saying his age, right? But can he hang around? How long can you guys think he can hang around?
I mean, for me, it's we'll see because this is his first major procedure, his first ever surgery.
Shoulder.
So, I mean, he said yesterday 3 months of no throwing, and he just started throwing like a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
So, and he's probably just short tossing like 30 feet, 40 feet, 50
Yeah.
feet. He probably won't be ramped up pitching on the bump until, I don't know, I'm thinking May, June. He's got to get all that arm strength back and do all those exercises. So, I mean, let's see how he progresses. But something tells me he's gonna exceed the expectations. He'll be back in July. That's what I'm calling.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that. I like
Yep.
July. No, I like the contract's appropriate. I mean, I hope for him lasting. I mean, I would love it if Kershaw could somehow make it to his 40s pitching.
Look at Verlander.
or
He's
hit,
like
or
40.
hit 20, or hit a solid 20 as a Dodger and call
Yeah,
it.
right.
But I mean, that's a lot of things got to fall into place for that to happen. Maybe he just, his next contract is basically similar. Where it's like, hey, I don't even start pitching until May, and then so that way at least I'm fresh for the playoffs.
And then in
so-
August, I'm on the IL a couple times just to save my arm because we're going to say I'm sore.
So let me ask you
Sore
this.
shoulder.
Yeah, right.
Let me ask you this because I was
Yeah.
I talked about this I think with my father-in-law a little bit. I think that when Kershaw got hurt last season, I was under the impression that there was a staged injury just so they could rest him and then
I
get him
believe
prepped
that.
up for the playoffs.
Yeah.
I was actually bummed out it wasn't. I mean, obviously I was bummed out that it wasn't staged, but I was also happy if it was, just because that made sense to me to rest him to get him ready for the playoffs. Like
Sure.
I'm not that kind of person that needs Kershaw to pitch every single game throughout the season. I don't think
No, that's
we-
not
we want-
2014 Kershaw anymore.
yeah, we want him like, ready to go for the playoffs. So
That's right.
that's kind of what I was hoping happened last year. Obviously I was wrong. So I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if that's talked about at some point if he wants to continue to pitch, where it's like, hey, we basically put kid gloves on you throughout the entire season.
Yeah.
You're not going to go past 5 innings. You're going to, we'll make you a 6-man rotation kind of deal. We're going to give you a month off with a fake injury at some point just to basically make sure that you're ready to
I wonder
go.
how many fake injuries a lot of these guys have had.
Probably more than we know.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
it would just make sense to me to do that with him because the type of pitcher that he can be for you in the playoffs, which we talked about last episode. As long as he doesn't pitch into the 6th or 7th inning,
Yep.
now for him it might be the
Right.
6th inning because he's getting older.
For
You
sure.
have a pretty solid pitcher.
100%.
I know we only talked about the St. Louis series.
But recent ones as well, because you got, we talked, you brought
There's
up
been
those.
some that we touched on the other day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you use him right. You treat him right, man. He could be your best pitcher in the playoffs. He could be your best pitcher.
He could be. And he doesn't even have to be our number 1 or number 2. or
Less
number
pressure on
3.
him if he does have any
Exactly.
mental scars from previous performances,
Yeah.
which helps out a lot.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, imagine us playing Arizona again in the first round this year.
God, it better have a different outcome, though, because if it
Well-
doesn't, it's going to be real bad for his legacy.
They might
It's
come
going to
down
be
to
real bad
earth.
for the whole organization.
Yeah.
But let's
Well, let's talk about the
Let's-
expectations for not only fans but
Yeah, let's do
for
it.
players. So let's talk about what Mookie said, okay? Because I feel like that's you or Aaron, you brought it up, Max, you brought it up as well that it's been circulating, getting some negative feedback, right? I would say.
Well, I mean, I think it's people probably hating as normal, hating on the Dodgers,
Sure.
hating on Mookie, possibly for whatever reasons. But yeah,
So
I mean, he said
what
what
is
he
his
said.
exact words? What did he say?
So he said it's going to be everybody's World Series.
Yeah, pretty much.
When they play him.
Every
When they
team
play the
we play,
Dodgers.
every
Right.
team, especially when they're going to that home stadium of whoever they're playing.
Let me ask you a question, though. Has it not already been that?
I was just going to say, it's been like that for years, especially within the division. Giants, Arizona, Padres.
But it's also
maybe not Colorado so much, but
it's also felt that way when they've been playing outside of their out of the
Absolutely.
West, when they've been playing like interleague stuff and all that. Like it just feels.
when we went to Boston last year for that weekend series, it felt like a playoff / World Series.
Oh yeah,
you know, and then you had Turner over there and whatever. But yeah, I love it personally. Like, bring it on. And I love the fact that Mookie has. I think for the first couple of years for Mookie, I don't think he really fully embraced being a Dodger. And that's just my thoughts, just because of certain comments that I hear him say in the press. But I know he is now, and he has been for a couple of years now. And now with Shohei and all the pitching that we have, the confidence is just extraordinary right now, right? So let's ride it, and I love it. I mean, Mookie's one of our leaders, so let's go.
Yeah. The national media didn't take too kindly to the comments because
of course,
they're saying like you're thinking of yourself a little too much. Because, handle your playoffs issues before you start talking about you're the World Series for everybody,
And the
national media is going to do that.
And that's their job.
That's
we
their
get
job.
It.
Yeah.
We get it.
But
May not like it, but that's their job. I get it.
But isn't that always kind of how it is for the top teams? I mean, let's be honest. Like, the Dodgers have been the top team in the regular season. Granted, whatever happens in the playoffs happens in the playoffs and stuff like that. But yeah, for the last 10 years, even the year that they didn't win the division, they still won over 100 games. Like,
yeah,
they've been the top dog. When teams that are trying to prove themselves in any sport, I would think it's this way. I mean, it's how it was when I was playing. I mean, I'm sure like in Little League and then even like down the street or like
high
whatever.
School. Yeah, absolutely.
It's how it is. When you're playing the top team, you want to show that you're better than they are.
And
when you think you have the talent, when you think even if you think that they're overrated, you still want to go out there and show them, hey, you're not worth $1 billion. Like, you're not worth this stuff. So for him to come out and say that, I don't think it was him being conceited. I don't think it was him trying to
No, he's being honest.
He's totally being honest. And
that's what people don't like.
And guess what? Also, like, attendance shows that when the Dodgers go and they play in other cities,
right?
I guarantee you they're bringing in more fans when the Dodgers show up.
Dude, well, I don't know. I've been to San Diego twice in the last few years. Plan on going again this year. It's a great ballpark, great city, but there's more Dodger fans there than Padres fans. It's Dodger Stadium South. You go up north, San Francisco, it's not as much, but there's probably 25-30% Dodger fans in there. Most teams besides, let's say, Dodgers, Yankees, Red Sox, maybe the Cubs, those are the top teams that travel.
Yeah.
We
Cardinals.
have Cardinals, right?
Big fan base,
Yeah, the Cardinal way.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Dodgers have a group called Pantone 294 that I follow on Instagram. You guys should follow them. Yeah, Pantone 294. They literally go pretty much everywhere.
Nice little plug.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to Korea too, from what I heard.
Nice.
I'm not 100% sure on that, but
do they have a GoFundMe? So if I join that, do I get a ticket to go?
Maybe. You're going to go to Korea for a few days?
For?
Sure.
Hey, I want to read a comment by Ben Verlander.
Ben Verlander.
Yeah,
what did Ben say?
He rubs a lot of people the wrong way. He goes, with the Dodgers' recent track record, teams aren't thinking this is our World Series. They're more likely to think, I hope we face the Dodgers in the first round of playoffs because that's when they lose.
Oh. 2 years in a row we lose in the playoffs, and now all of a sudden we can't get it done. That's the national take on it.
What have you done for me lately?
I mean, but Ben Verlander likes to, ruffle.
He likes to stir it up.
Yeah, he likes to
stir it up. I get
it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's why they did what they did, too. I'm pretty sure that was part of the motivation in the offseason, getting who we got. So, you know what? Let's go. Pitchers and catchers are starting now.
Shut up
they
all
are
the
there
critics.
now. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely shut those guys up.
It's going to be interesting if, you kind of always think, like, sometimes I always think like worst case scenario kind of situation. And it's kind of what if the Dodgers don't even win the West? What if they don't even? What if they don't even
hard
win?
time imagining that.
I know, but still, like,
Who's
I know what you're
overtaking them?
saying.
Colorado?
no, I mean, come on. No, but Arizona's got a good team.
I think they're coming back down to earth.
Padres still have good players if they can figure out how to actually coexist with each other, not be.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it's not like the Dodgers have a cakewalk in the regular season as well. So
if they don't win the division by 10 plus
talking,
games, I don't know. That's a disappointing.
I don't know, man.
Totally.
I think that's a cakewalk
but
division.
I'm just saying, like, it's
not the toughest division.
Come
that's
to
for
the
sure.
AL East and play Tampa Bay, Baltimore, and Toronto, and the Red Sox.
That is probably the
times a
most
year.
stacked division. Max is right.
Yeah, that's torture, man.
Yep.
You don't care.
Nah.
Go ahead.
Interesting. Well,
Don't worry about the division, Robbie. You don't have to worry about that.
yeah, we're not really. We're not
Worry about
concerned
health.
about the division.
And, that's all.
well, you got to worry about health with who we're stacking up as our pitchers. Like, how are you not?
And they knew that going in. That's why they've re-signed Kershaw. That's why they got Paxton. That's why there's Ryan Yarbrough to throw in. If he needs to take 2 or 3 starts away from somebody who's injured,
Right.
it's going to happen. Even hopefully just not serious injuries. If all these guys need to go on the IL for 10 days or 2 weeks, cool. Let them rest.
Right.
We have the depth.
All right. So going back to Mookie, Aaron, what did you like overall? Like, how did that make you like? Does it pump you up when a player comes out and says that, or were you like, oh man, don't say something like that, or is it kind of like everybody just get over yourselves and realize
let's
it's the
go.
truth?
Come on, let's go. Like seriously, I'm glad that Mookie is stepping up, and he should be stepping up because we were talking about the postseason failures the last couple of years, and Ben Verlander, and the losing in the first round of the playoffs. He has a lot to prove. He has a lot to
definitely does
prove
after
to him.
last season.
Man, the last two playoffs,
last two playoffs for him,
I think he has 1 hit combined.
Oof.
And for your leadoff hitter, for your superstar, for a former MVP, a 2-time World Series champion, you cannot get away with that. So I'm thinking he's going to have the type of year he had last year, but
Look,
better.
you can't get away with that. However, Ben Verlander realized that the guy is an MVP. The guy has won 2 World Series. The guy has been to the promised land a couple times. It's not like he's known to be a choker in the playoffs. Like Mookie's been known to be the man.
He's had success.
Yeah. Obviously, you can't. And we talked about a little bit of this with the Kershaw, even though his is like
Manager based.
That's decisions,
for the
right?
most part. But I have, even though Mookie did not show up the last 2 playoffs, I don't expect that to happen again.
No,
this season. Like
we're too stacked.
You expect these players because the thing that was cool about the Dodgers is that the players that they went and got out or went and got, they're champions. They're guys that are winners that have been, to the playoffs, to been the World Series. You went and you got Mookie Betts. You got Freddie Freeman.
Cy Youngs, MVPs.
Yeah, you've got
Hall
these
of
guys
Famers.
who've been there and done it. And so it's not like they're known to be chokers. They'll put it together. They just, it's unfortunate they got cold at the wrong time. 2 seasons in a row. It happens. It does.
It happens.
Very rarely, which we'll talk about later, the wire-to-wire thing.
Yeah.
Does the best team in baseball win the championship?
Not always, because
I don't think
you
it
can have a
happens
bad
a lot.
week. It doesn't, because you can have a bad week like Mookie had, and your slump falls right at the worst time.
So I remember last year, right after the playoffs, I remember talking about or listening, I should say, certain podcasts, certain Dodger podcasters, and people in the comment section would be talking about, well, they had too many days off from the last game of the season before the first game of the playoffs. And I thought about that for a little while. At first, I was like, no, I don't think that was it. And then I started thinking about it, and I'm like,
it contributes.
It has something to do with it because baseball, you need to be consistently doing something every day. So if you have 5 or 6 days off, that is way too much time. And before these extra round wildcard games in the playoffs, you had, I think, maybe 3 days off total. So now you're throwing in like 2 or 3 extra days. Your momentum is affected.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not making excuses here. So people that are going to listen and watch this, I'm not making excuses. They completely failed at their job last year. But I think that does have a part in it, and it's not the Dodgers that it only affects either.
Well, no. How did Atlanta do?
Exactly. And they were favored to win it last year.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the American League, didn't it affect another team as well?
Probably Baltimore or Tampa Bay, right?
Yankees didn't even make the playoffs last year.
Nope.
We didn't say Yankees.
Oh, I'm just saying.
Nobody cares about them on the show.
Is there a Yankee fan here?
What?
There is?
What?
Oh.
That's so weird.
Okay.
Man.
We're bouncing back this year. Sleeping giant.
No, did it?
I hope you guys do.
Didn't it affect
Good for
another team?
baseball.
Didn't it affect another team in the American League as well? Wasn't it the other 100-game winner? It was the Orioles.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was
they
Orioles
didn't
because
get out.
Texas-
They got
Texas
eliminated first
beat 'em.
round.
Yeah.
Texas
Yeah.
beat them first
Yeah,
round.
first round. Yeah.
So I think the only there's the team that made it out of it was Houston.
No, he's
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because Houston win it, they didn't go in as a wild card, right?
No, they won their division barely. They won it the last weekend.
Yeah, pretty much everybody who had a rest, that new format, pretty much lost.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
that's
No, one of them got through. I know it was.
yeah, it was
I
only
feel-
one.
I feel like it
yeah,
was
only
Houston.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
Only one person got out.
And I think
Yep.
that's probably talked about is maybe they shouldn't do that next time. And there's and then also we can't make the first round of the playoffs when they come back. You can't make it a best of 5. It's got to be a real world. It's got to be at least if you're going to have that break, at least give the team that had to take the break some time to get back into baseball form.
I feel that.
And I understand. Like it's not like they're
Yes.
sitting around waiting, like on their chair just watching other people play baseball. They're obviously doing workouts. They're obviously doing live BP and stuff like that. They're practicing, getting ready for those games. And I know the
Yep.
Dodgers did their simulation games and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, there's simulations. At the end of the day, it is only BP. There's a difference for
a
being
whole
in the
different-
game
Yep.
with the intensity and then shutting down the intensity for a certain amount of time and then all of a sudden ramp it back up and go.
Imagine, starting on Wednesday instead of Saturday, like they did this past year.
Weird.
Last game of the year, Sunday, take Monday and Tuesday off, go back Wednesday, or Thursday at the latest. That's what they used to do.
Yeah.
So I do think that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
But-
Well,
Yep.
I understand Major League Baseball tries to get more teams
It's more
in the
money,
playoffs.
more
it's more
eyes.
money. It's more people watching
Yep.
the game. And I get it. It's not like it doesn't make sense. It's just there's got to be a better way that it's actually a benefit for the people to win it. Because if you think about it, like, why would you want to win your division if you know that it's going to put you in a bad situation the first round?
Right. Agreed.
I'm not
But
saying they're
you're
going to start
always-
tanking, but I'm saying that that's something that they're going to look at. And
Yeah.
I feel like hopefully it's.
Well, they structure it differently, hopefully, in the next couple of years.
I don't know if did they structure it differently coming up now. Is there anything changed? Or
I don't know if they can.
I don't know if we've done enough. We haven't done enough research.
Not
to
enough
even
intel
have that
about
conversation.
that yet.
All right, so
Right.
let's move from Mookie. I feel like we've covered that enough.
Yep.
Let's talk about. I mean, Aaron. You're super excited about this one. Just go for it. We signed somebody new, another utility guy who's not going to get really
I love
any
how
playing
he
time.
says super excited.
Well,
I
because we
don't
were
think
talking,
those
we
were
wanted
my words at all, but
because I know we talked about Kike a little bit. Like we wanted them to re-sign Kike, but even then we were kind of like, what are you going to do with him if you get him? Because you already have all these other guys sitting on the
well,
bench.
yeah, like
But then you go and you get a utility guy where it's like you had Kike sitting there.
I know.
So,
Well, maybe this.
but I also
ownership-
don't know enough about Chris Owings. I don't know any. Like I don't know.
I don't know a
nothing
lot
him.
about him. He's not a power hitter. I know that much for sure.
not much of a hitter at all.
He's not much of a hitter. He's more of a defensive guy. He played, I think he first came up in 2013 with Arizona. Max, if you want to fact check me on that.
Correct.
And then he went to Colorado for a couple years, I want to say during
Max?
the pandemic season.
Correct.
Oh.
He's rolling. I'm not going to
Wow.
stop him.
This guy.
Wow, see?
Max, go outside for a while.
Yeah,
Take
I'm about to go get
take a
a-
break.
We don't need you right now, Max. I'm Max 2.0 right
There you
over
go.
here. Anyways, he's a utility guy.
Yeah.
He's a Chris Taylor without the power, and probably will strike out just as much, if not more, than Chris Taylor. So the signing, I'm not personally excited about, but I figure we should touch on it. He's probably not even going to be on the 40-man roster once the season starts. He'll only come up due to an injury.
Yeah, he's a long
You know
shot.
what I mean?
He plays shortstop, second base, and outfield.
Right.
And for the last, let's see, you want to hear something ugly? Last 2 seasons, he's batted 107 and 160.
Wow.
Got Barnes' brother. What's
Yeah,
happening
were
here?
they hanging out together?
Not a lot of at bats though to
Of course.
to
right,
play
well,
devil's
then-
advocate.
I don't understand why you even give this guy a chance when you have rookies sitting there salivating to get some time at the show. So
You know
doesn't
what?
make
The
any
Dodgers
sense.
do this a lot every year. We're as
I know, and I don't
fans,
understand it.
We're like, how come they're not bringing this guy up and this guy up? And it's like, no, we need to get guys who have played for 8 years, 9 years, have the experience. Like Colton Wong last year, the former Cardinal, right?
Yeah.
He had one big hit.
Right. And then where's he at now?
It didn't, but that's once again that didn't make any sense to me why they got him, because you had these other guys sitting there,
right?
And you were I believe when they brought him up, you were like 10 games in first or something like that. It was like bring up some rookies and let them play some little bit.
So I do know this: we're pretty. Our depth at pitching is really good. Our catching depth is pretty good.
Really, we got some good pitching.
No, in AAA is what I'm saying.
All right.
In the minors,
He's in the minors.
We have a lot of depth there. We don't have in the minors, and maybe this is part of their reasoning for bringing up Chris Owings or signing him. We don't have a lot of outfield depth hitting wise, so we're kind of lacking that department. So, do I love the signing? No. Is it going to make a difference? Probably not. But who knows, right? He could get called up in a pinch. He might need to come up there and pinch hit in a game in the 14th inning. He might get a walk-off. You never know.
We'll make sure to talk about it on this podcast if that actually happens.
Right, it's baseball.
Chris Owings shows up, he gets a special episode.
That's it. We'll patch him in. We'll interview him.
Will he?
For like 2 minutes.
It'll be his answer machine, his voicemail.
It'll be his voicemail. Answer machine. What is this, 1991?
I wish.
Come on, Robbie.
That's a good year.
It was a good year.
91. Wow.
No, it wasn't.
When I was 17. Anyways. So
that's all the time we got.
That's pretty much it, huh?
No, all right. So I think that's we've touched enough on your guy. Let's move on.
My guy.
Right.
Yeah, I got to go get the Chris Owings tattoo right now.
You don't ever have it?
Nope.
All right, wire to wire. Next topic. Last one.
Let's do it.
Max, this is yours.
Yeah, I want to hear you guys' take on being, the clear-cut favorites from spring training to not only get to the World Series, but win the World Series. It doesn't happen often because of the nature of baseball. And actually, the Dodgers were the last to do it in 2020. Can you guys do it again? And what kind of pressure does that bring, being the favorites and, going wire to wire?
Houston wasn't the favorite when they won it?
I don't think they've ever been the favorite.
No, they came out of kind of nowhere, especially in 2017 when they were cheating.
Well, no, not that year. I feel like they were the favorite because
you mean the Astros?
Yeah, the following year they didn't go back to back, if I'm not mistaken.
No, they never got back to back.
Yeah, so
and they
lose
at home
they
would
have been the favorite,
which
probably.
Nobody seems to talk about.
They would have probably been the favorite the year after winning one of those, and then
it's called karma.
Yeah.
Who won it in 2021?
Atlanta.
Yeah.
They beat us in the LCS.
No, they got hot.
Nope.
They got red hot.
That's right. They were,
and they lost Acuna.
Yeah,
that's right. I forgot about that.
They did it all without Acuna.
They made a bunch of deals at the trade deadline and got a ton of hitters. And
they had that Eddie Rosario guy that just could not get a hit.
And Jorge Solar became, I don't know, Mark McGuire and freaking launching bombs.
Seriously, imagine that.
It's crazy.
When you have no pressure, that's when, So there's certain guys made up for the pressure. So going back to the whole thing, you mentioned pressure, right, Max?
Yeah.
I definitely think all the pressure is on all of them. And the way that they're talking, especially with Mookie's comment and all the signings and all the hubbubaloo, if you will, throughout the season.
The man said hubbubaloo.
Hubbubaloo. I did. I don't know why I said that, but the word came out.
Yeah.
And now we're starting the season in less than 6 weeks in South Korea against our division rival. They're going to definitely be pumped up.
Oh, yeah.
They hate us. We hate them.
Sure.
They're riding off, the 2022 defeating of us, whatever. But as far as the answer to your question, Max, I definitely think they can do it. The way that they are structured, the way that the team, the depth, the experience of losing, unfortunately, has taught them, okay, that's not what we do anymore.
Yeah.
So in-game decisions, I think you're going to see a lot different coming up this year. At least I hope, because you can't do the same thing and expect a different result, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Robbie?
Beavis?
Beavis Butt.
Yeah.
Who? Okay, so I'm trying to so after 2020,
Robbie's trying to audio engineer here.
I was trying to fix the stream as well.
I know.
So 2021 was the Braves, and then we had 2022, which was the
Astros and Phillies.
Astros.
Phillies got red hot.
That's right. Okay, and then 2023, which was
the Rangers got hot.
Rangers got red hot.
And Diamondbacks got red hot.
Yeah.
You know, it's
and
been
two
the
teams
trend.
that were not good during the season. Like
Yeah.
they were 86 wins or something like that.
Yeah.
wild
yeah,
card
yeah.
teams and
So
stuff.
go figure.
Hey, you know, they're rested. They're not, you know.
I got another follow-up question when you're
All
All right.
done with
So
your take.
anyway, so wire to wire. I mean, to be honest with you, as being a Dodger fan this last 10 years, it's kind of always felt like the Dodgers, even though it maybe not projected in everybody else, but it's felt like we've been projected to win the World Series.
We're
to get
always
far.
top 2 or 3.
We're always,
very,
we're always
bare
top.
minimum.
Yep.
I know even like in 2017 and 2018, I felt like we were
We were definitely the
projected to be
favorites.
there.
Yep.
And we were also we were having a small conversation, which I want to have an episode, which we just almost solely talk about this, which is comparing what the 2020 squad looked like compared to what it looks like now at 2024.
Look forward to
Look
that.
at the offense that we had in 2020. Look at the offense we have now. Look at the pitching. I mean,
We do that in the season, though. We'll wait till the season
I
to
want to
see.
do that sooner than that. As far as like,
But we need to
Maybe
see the
at the end of
progress
spring training.
this
with speculation
season.
and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
at
you know
the
what I
end of
mean?
spring
Right.
training would be a good time.
We'll
So-
figure that out. You guys in the comments, you let us know when you want to hear that. How about that?
It's just I don't know like how to like answer this question because I've always felt like the Dodgers have the best shot to win it because of the players that we've had. We've been very fortunate to have not only go out and get great players, but then to develop great players. Look at like Corey Seager,
Oh, our development.
Peterson when he was here.
Top
Like
notch.
I understand he was
Second
like
to none.
shaky in his average and stuff like that, but the dude was clutch and he hit a lot of home runs. Bellinger, Will Smith, like you're talking about guys that's like they didn't go out and get these guys. Like they were there, they developed them.
They got a great
Kershaw, obviously.
organization.
Great organization. Walker Buehler, Kenley Jensen, like these guys are just like, oh man.
On
But then
and
the
on and
players,
on.
the players that they go out and get, we're still not talking about the big names. You went out and you found a Max Muncy that was basically dropped by the A's. and
Oakland said, "Hey, we don't want him
and you
anymore."
redeveloped him into an all-star first baseman, really at the time. And now, granted, his average isn't there, but he gets on base, he hits 30 home runs, gets you 100 RBIs.
We'll take it.
Great development. Chris Taylor, we know how we feel about him now, but still, when they got him from Seattle,
It was Seattle. Yeah.
they made him into a really good player in 2017. Right? Was it 2017 or 2018? I'm trying
That's
to
when
remember
he first started. Was 2017. He came up in 16.
Yeah, but like he had really good performances in 2017, 20, like he was
did.
very clutch and stuff like that.
Yes, he
so
was.
the Dodgers have been doing us very well as far as this entire recently. So
yeah.
it's like we felt like we should be winning these games, and then you go out and you get Mookie Betts, you get Freddie Freeman, you get these players, and you're like, holy shit! And
Shohei Ohtani.
Granted, we lose Seager, but also we forgot we had Trey Turner for a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Like they go out and they get these players.
Max Scherzer, future Hall of Famer.
Future, but his arm's off. Like it's got a dead arm.
Your
here,
arm
guys.
would be too after throwing 4 million pitches.
Dodgers brought me in to relief. My arm was dead. That's why I lost the game.
Yeah, that
Can't
was
blame me.
That was horrible.
Blame management, which
That was horrible.
we've done. We've blamed management for But anyways,
We've definitely
so
definitely touched on
going
that.
back to it, like I expect the Dodgers to go from being the favorites in the beginning to be the favorites at the end, and
Well, I'll just say this. We're sitting here Friday, February 9th, 2024. By the end of October into the first day or two of November, if the Dodgers aren't World Series champs 2024, I will come on here and wear it. From all the Padres fans, Astros fans, Giants fans.
No, I got it.
I will deal with
No,
it.
you will get your Chris Owings tattoo.
Right here on my neck?
No, don't do that. It'll
No?
be
Oh,
like somewhere you
all
can
right.
cover it up. But
All
yeah,
right.
hey, would you do that? Let's say
I'll get a
the
tramp
Dodgers
stamp of Chris Owings
if they don't
tattoo.
at least
Oh, man.
if they don't even at least make the World Series, would you get a Chris Owings tattoo?
Ooh. Let me get back to you on that. Let me see if Chris Owings even gets called up to the big club at all this
Yeah.
year.
Oh, that's cheating, man. You can't wait that long.
Well, if he's in AAA all year, then
Real quick,
know.
I know we're coming up to the end.
yes.
We got time.
Who if God forbid it doesn't work out, what do you think would go wrong? Management or injuries?
Me, management.
Yeah.
Yeah, injuries, I think we could survive. It's, again, Robbie, me not being the biggest Dave Roberts fan. But again, is it always his fault? No. I think it's the analytics guys that are up there telling Friedman and his guys to tell Roberts.
Now, that's a
"No,
grown-up
you can't."
take.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I could touch on that for another hour if I wanted to. But to me, it's going to be management.
Robbie?
I think it's going to be injuries. I think injuries is going to put it on the management to make the bad decision. Kind of like what happened last year. Last year, it was the injuries that made...
Let's not put out injuries. No injuries.
Well, dude...
Major ones, at least.
Look at what they're building. Even though we love it, if it's healthy, it's the best rotation in... I don't want to say possibly ever, but at least this in baseball right now. Best rotation.
And our lineup.
Our lineup, yeah, that's great. But we can't have another season where you rely just on offense. We need to have the pitching there as well. Now, granted, it's not really, with the exception of the one inning that Kershaw did in the playoffs last year, it wasn't the pitching that failed us last year in the playoffs. It was really
it was the hitting.
Mookie not showing up, Freddie Freeman not showing up. There was no...
What'd they score, like 6 runs total?
It was 2 runs an inning.
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, 2 runs a game.
Game.
Yeah, that's horrible.
So that's not what broke us, but in a way... you can't do that recipe again. So if you look at the starting rotation we just picked up, it's pitch limitation, injury prone. It's
they're gonna have
it's a recipe to have another disaster.
It is.
And I hope it's not. I hope everything, I hope hey, if one guy gets injured, you still got 5 or 6 guys sitting there. And as soon as he gets back, another guy gets injured.
I was just going to say that.
I mean, that's what the hope
depth.
is.
That's where the depth comes in.
Hopefully, but we had depth last year in a way, and we destroyed it.
Yeah.
Super quick.
But now we got to think about it now too. We destroyed that. We threw in rookies who weren't ready, but now those rookies got valuable playing time and valuable starts and innings thrown. So
I have a feeling
that's where I'm kind of at right there. I feel good if we got to throw in Grove or Sheehan. Obviously, Bobby Miller is the best out of all of them.
I'm telling you right now, if you have 2 rookies if you have 2 rookies that are projected to start a playoff game in your first series, something went wrong in the regular season. No. I'm talking about this season coming up.
Oh, this year.
This year coming up. If you have 2 rookies in that rotation, in the start of the playoffs, something went wrong with a lot of other guys.
I just say everything was a prelude the last couple of years to what's happening now with Shohei and Yamamoto and Glasnow, Teoscar. We got the cream of the crop. We are the best team on paper, wire to wire. I do say, let's do it. We're going to do it. If not, I'm getting Chris Owings tattoo.
We will have...
Are you calling that? Did you hear that?
I did hear it.
Maybe I just get his initials, CO.
Let's cut that and make sure it gets on TikTok and gets viral.
Right.
Yep.
We are going to do an episode where I want to do a comparison, team comparison, because, on paper for us, we think we're the best team in baseball, but there are other teams out there that
100%.
Can stack. For sure.
Atlanta is the first one that comes to mind.
Atlanta's still, I believe, Atlanta's not projected, because I could have swore Atlanta still was projected above the Dodgers.
They are, by like a half a game or something like that in the Dodgers, PECOTA standings.
Well, PECOTA actually had the Dodgers have more wins.
Really? Oh, that's what it was. It was Dodgers and then Braves.
By almost 2 wins. Yeah, right behind them.
Yeah, right behind.
Because that lineup, you could look at that offense that they got over there in Atlanta, and there's not a hole in that lineup.
Nope.
And if you go position to position, as far as compare right fielder to right fielder, left fielder, stuff like that,
it's pretty equal, if not more so, in certain positions. And they're starting pitching,
And don't sleep on Philadelphia. Those guys tend to mash.
They're trying to get Bellinger.
If they get Bellinger, they've beaten the Braves the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So as an Atlanta fan, I got a buddy who's an Atlanta fan. Shout out to Rob.
What up there, dude?
Yeah. So I wonder how he feels about that. I wouldn't. That'd be like us losing to the Padres 2 years in a row. Yeah. Oh, wait, we lost to the Padres and the Diamondbacks. So, yeah, baseball's here, boys. Let's go.
Yeah.
And speaking of go, I got to go.
All right. Let's wrap it up then.
Yep.
Hey, quality episode.
Definitely.
Good topics. Love it. Hey, thank you, everybody, for, tuning in, watching.
Subscribing.
Subscribing to us. Check out our Patreon page. Max is going to start putting out a lot of stuff on the social media pages and stuff, and getting out there, unless he already has been doing it.
Thank you for all the views on YouTube so far, everybody. We really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff.
You can find the podcast everywhere, pretty much. Spotify, iHeart,
Apple.
Mm-hmm. So like and subscribe and comment.
We'll talk to you guys next week.
Comment, please. Have a good weekend. See ya.
See ya.